Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Azrul Aqil and I am your host for tonight. So today we will discuss an interesting topic and we will start soon. So before that, I will introduce you our group members. First we have Mr. Najmi Zaim.
Hi.
Good. And second we have Mr. Emre Maleeq. How are you?
Hi, thank you, Mr. Moderator. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Yes, glad to hear that. Next we have Mr. Aziz Imran.
Yeah, I'm good, Mr. Writer. I hope you are doing well as well.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, we have Mr. Arif Imran. How are you?
I am doing very fine, thank you.
Yes, glad to hear that. So we have known about our panelists for today. So now, as once upon a time, I've scrolled my social media and I found that a posting that I don't disagree or I feel like I kind of dislike this thing. How should I react to it? So that will give me a question about does Facebook or a social media generally need a dislike button? What would be the immediate and long-term effect of this feature? So without dragging much time, we will invite Mr. Najmi Zaim to give his opinion on this feature.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator, to give me a chance to talk about this. I will talk about the advantage of having dislike in Facebook or generally social media. So, as you all know, there are a lot of fake news in this world. So, with the dislike button, you can avoid fake news. Fake news are actually acknowledged by the people who see it because they don't know whether it is true or not. They just acknowledge the fake news. So the victim will become a bad person, and that person will become bad, and they will start toxic about them. And suddenly the racism also will start it. And of course, the peace of the country also will be affected, and it will become worse and worse. And the children who who is younger will follow them, and of course it is will affect the future of the country. And furthermore, with this like button also we can avoid content creator to make a disturbing content. As you all know, disturbing content contains um, a lot of under 18 kan under 8 above 18 content, right, such as go videos that contain of a lot of blood, a lot of killing people. So after they started to watch this video, they will started to follow the trend. So with the dislike button we can avoid it. And if the trend is if the trend is not what not there,
If the trend is
if
not
the trend not
good or
Suitable for younger viewers.
suitable.
yes, the content is really not suitable to the young people. So if the trend is started to grow, a lot of cases, including murder, will happen frequently, and suddenly innocent victim also will increase. And the the citizens of the country will chalk the government as the cause of the tragedy. And of course, the citizen will not trust each other and have trust issues. And again, the peace of country will be affected too. I think Mr. Emre Maleeq, do you have any opinion about this?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Najmi. So I think your points really correlate with my point because as we know that nowadays there's really going on something new is always up in the event. Like say for politics, there's always some kind of new side. There's always a right side. There's always a left side. And then for social, there's always a new social media coming up with the apps, with the technology booming up. There's TikTok, there's Facebook, there are WhatsApps, and all that. And with this all the factors in it, it really affect our generation of thinking because nowadays that our generation tends to look at likes, tend to look at the positive views on something. They tend to not think about something and they tend to really go with the flow. They doesn't have their own integrity of and character. So I think that when there's a dislike button and when people are actually trying to comprehend an issue, they have opposite views on something, it will actually give insight to many people because we, as humans, we know that different people have different opinions. Why not, from limiting our opinions, we try to voice them out in a properly fashion, in a respectfully. So by adding dislikes to the Facebook, it will actually add on an open discussion. Let's say, for example, I'm scrolling a post in Facebook or Insta. Then I saw some post. I saw there's many likes on that post. There's something that is uh, very convincing and very uh, let's see controversy, very convincing and controversial. And let's say people are young people, especially young people are naive. They tend to look at the likes, and then they saw that there's many likes in the post. Let's say the post is about LGBT or something anti-Islam, anti-terrorism, and then they saw something like that, and then they tend to believe that that's right because there's always a like. There's nothing. There's no people going about having disliked it because some people when they see likes they tend to not look at the comments and say, oh, this has a lot of likes, then I tend to believe it. So by having dislikes, it actually make people to think, why does this post have a likes and dislike ratio? It tends to make people think about it. When people think about something, they're having a logical view on something. They tend to go to the comments and then tend to educate themselves, learn people's perspective from another side because we grow as a world. There's too many countries now. There's too many people. There's just too many stuff going on. We need to have our opinion and we need to grow as a character, have our own integrity because we cannot just follow one side. We must follow other side as well. We must know the other side of the coin because that's the problem with our society. We tend to only follow our own perspective rather than try to learn about others. So I think that in long term run that social media having this like is actually a way for us to communicate with others and try to voice our opinion in an orderly fashion way. So I think that's all for me. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Emre, for giving your such a brilliant opinion. Next, from both of these panelists, they give us advantages of this feature. So, as Mr. Emre said that we should look to the other side of the coin. So, we will start to know about others' opinion, which is from Mr. Aziz. How are you thinking about this feature?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. For me, I would want to discuss about the disadvantages on short term of the effect of having the dislike button. Okay, the first point I want to bring out is the unnecessary conflict that can happen when there is a dislike button, because if someone posts a comment about something that is not reliable, something that is bad. Something that is like not the trend of the society right now. People tend to look it in a bad way, and naturally that type of comment will have a lot of dislike. When it reaches like a high number of dislike, the person who posts the comments will start to feel bad about himself, and sometimes think whether the person is in the wrong or in the right. So because of that, it will probably happen some unnecessary conflict, because if the person who posts the comment is like someone who put his pride in front of himself, therefore, yeah, he don't want to back up in a fight. Of course, he wants to bring out the truth of his comment, and therefore, it will bring some unnecessary conflict. Okay. So when this type of thing go on for a long period of time, sometimes it like derail from the original situation, right? The comment is about the post or something, but when the conflict happen, people don't want to talk about the post anymore. People just want to bring down the person who he is arguing on internet. So because of that, it may bring up some sensitive things that shouldn't be bring up, such as racial, religion, or even politics, just for the purpose of bringing the person down. And because of that, the victim, who is being argued, tend to increase hatred and maybe view the internet in a bad way, and maybe lose his trust on others, and the people who bullies the person who commit the thing will probably raise his ego, and will probably argue and on other people as well. And because of that, the point I want to bring out is it increase haters and raise some egos. And after that, it will affect the mental health of the person. When I'm talking about mental health, I want to call out Arif Imran. Are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Yeah, I believe that you do your research on the long-term effect on this thing, and I think that mental health is something that you are good at right now. Okay, so I would want you to carry on the subject.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Aziz. Your points are very interesting for me. So basically, what you said is that these victims, we could say these victims, they tend to get hate, a lot of hate, which is very bad for
Yes.
their mental health. So basically, what will happen is when they get hated a lot, they will get depression and anxiety. So from depression and anxiety, some people who can't handle it, they tend to commit suicide, which is very bad. We all know suicide is something that is very inhumane to do. So basically, these side effects of uh, getting haters online, they will make people lives miserable, and we would hate if the same thing happened to us as well. So before I want to continue, but my point is I want to talk about a bit about cyberbullying. So what cyberbullying generally is, it is when people use social media as a medium to intentionally cause harm and spread hate to others who cannot defend themselves from the aggressive act of the haters. And from this topic, cyberbullying, I researched and I found out that a professor named Craig N. Hayes had done a very interesting research about the impacts of bullying generally, bullying and cyberbullying to towards high school and middle school students. And from his research, about 20 to 40% students had been bullied online. or to text. So the question is, why would people even do cyberbullying? I mean, it's a bad thing. We all know cyberbullying is bad. So one of the reasons are that when you cyberbully, you're anonymous to other people. So people don't know who you are, and you don't know who they are. So you tend to not care about their feelings, about their lives, how easy their life is or how hard their life is. So it's a very bad thing. And the second point is, when we are anonymous, we tend to not care about the effects of cyberbullying because it doesn't happen to us, it happened to the victim, and which this can bring to suicidal tendencies and depression and what I said earlier. So before that, uh, there are a few ways of cyberbullying that are very popular nowadays. Some are uh, provocative images, image that makes you feel bad, makes you feel uneasy. Yes, thank you, Azrul Aqil. Uh, there are also people that receive death threats, and death threats are very dangerous, and some people might even quit the internet because of death threats. But the interesting thing is, nowadays, in this new era, there's a new type of cyberbullying, and it is called cancel culture. So, what is cancel culture? So, basically, cancel culture is when someone made a mistake. It could be a tiny mistake or it could be a big mistake. It doesn't matter. And basically, the haters of that particular someone would try to take him down, would try to make him look bad, call him everything, every bad thing, and abuse their freedom to express their cyberbully. Uh, it would sound pretty normal, right? But what what makes cancel culture a bit different is that cancel culture, you don't do cancel culture on your own. You don't do it singularly. You do it in a group. You do it with your friends. You do it with your community, and sometimes one single person might get cancelled by thousands yet millions of people at the same time, and this could easily lead to depression and anxiety, which is very bad. So that is all from me. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for all of our panel for today. As we heard that some of panelists point out that about advantages of this dislike button, such as prevent fake news or prevent a bad perspective on people or widen thinking of the new generation. And some of panelists say that this may lead to death threat or cyberbully or emotional triggering something. So it's all up to you to sum up. Is it for you is beneficial to have a dislike button or not? So that's all from us. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Subscribe to my second channel. Okay, bye.
Mm.